So, Scream 7. This movie is finally released, and I'm not going to get into all the controversies around it. I think you all know what they are by now. But I think it's fair to say that this movie has had a very rocky production. And despite me being a really big Scream fan, I really wasn't excited for this movie. I did not agree what they did with Melissa Barrera, and then bringing back Sidney Prescott and Stu just felt very desperate. And even the trailers just didn't grab me, even though there were a few ideas in there which I was like, okay, that could work. I'm interested to see where they go with that. But I went to see the movie earlier today. I was thinking, okay, maybe it'd be fun, maybe it'd be a decent enough Scream movie. I was completely wrong. Guys, this is one of the worst movies in the franchise. Now, do I agree with the consensus that this is the worst of the franchise? I don't really. I do think 3 is the worst still, but this one's not much better, I can tell you that. In fact, I think a way that this movie is worse with Scream 3 is that it doesn't feel like a Scream movie. It feels like a parody of them. Say what you want about Scream 3, but at least it actually felt like something that belonged in the franchise, because it was directed by Wes Craven. But this one just feels like we're watching one of the Stab movies, because it is parodying and nostalgia baiting you into oblivion. It does not care about character writing, a story, none of that. It just wants to shove nostalgia in your face and parody everything that has come in Scream. And what we get is this mishmash of tones, ideas, that just don't flow well whatsoever. Now, just a fair warning, I will be talking about spoilers with this film. I don't think I can talk about some of my points without spoiling the film. So we reunite with Sidney Prescott, and she now has a 17-year-old daughter. They're living in a new town, and then a new Ghostface killer appears, and you know the drill, new Ghostface killer, Sidney Prescott has to kill it. And right off the back, I'm just going to be honest with you all, I don't like the fact that they brought back Sidney Prescott. In Scream 6, they tell us that she's got a happy ending now, she's moved on. While she's not in that film, you do feel kind of happy for her. In Scream 5, she had one last hurrah. But now we're going back to ruining her life again. So it just undermines the ending. But I will say I did like some of the direction that they went with her. They take the Halloween 2018 route where she's a very overprotective mother, which I think is very understandable after what she's gone through. And having her go on the journey where she needs to learn to let her daughter go a little bit more, trust her, know that she'll be happy in life, whatever happens, and that she can fight for herself. But unfortunately, this movie does not do that character arc well whatsoever. It thinks it's doing something, but it's really not, because Sidney's daughter is so boring. The movie really wants to make her the new Melissa Barrera character. They really want to make her the new star of the show, this franchise. But you do not care about her whatsoever. At the end of this movie, when they finally kill the Ghostface killer, she says, "I'm Sidney Prescott's daughter." And it is not impactful whatsoever. But if you think she's boring, wait till you meet the other characters. You could put a gun to my head right now, and I would not be able to tell you who these side characters are. They are just victims of Ghostface. Simple as that. I will say they do die in really entertaining ways. There's one in a bar with a beer pump that was very cool. It's easily one of the best kills in the franchise, but you just don't feel anything for them. And the other legacy characters like Gale are severely wasted here as well. Gale did not need to be in this movie. She's in it for like 5 minutes. You could cut her out completely. Literally nothing changes. And they bring back the remaining 2 core members of the newer Scream group from Scream 6 and 5. They don't do anything in this movie as well. They say a few things about horror movies and the cliches, and then they get severely wounded. You see what I mean when I said that this feels like a mishmash of ideas, where they really didn't want to undermine Scream 5 and 6. They really wanted to try and continue that story. But we don't have a main character anymore. So we're going to like quickly rush something to make it kind of impactful. Now let's get into some of the story elements, because this is where this movie completely falls apart. I will say for the first 20 minutes, I was actually into this. I was thinking to myself, why is this getting so many negative reviews? This is actually quite fun. We go back to the original house where it's now an Airbnb and it's themed around the Stab movies. We see this couple and then they get killed and then the house gets burned down. And then we meet Sidney Prescott and her daughter, and then she gets a call from a guy who's supposedly Ghostface again, and he says, "I'm not hiding anymore, Sidney." Goes on FaceTime. Duh, duh, duh. it's Stu. And when that happened, I was like, what? How is this happening then? Are they actually going for this conspiracy theory that he maybe still be alive? And I was really, really interested to see where they take this. And where they do eventually take this could have been interesting for Scream, but they really don't utilise it well. Because that is not actually Stu. That's a deep fake. This movie's main theme is all about AI. And I do think a Scream movie could tackle AI pretty well. I do think they can make a commentary about horror movies and AI, maybe the future movies with AI as well, maybe about serial killers and how AI may affect stories in the media about them. I do think there was a lot of potential with that, but they do absolutely nothing with that in this movie. It's just there to trick the characters at times. What they could have done, they never do. It is literally just washed away after a little while. And even then, it's hardly in the movie after you see that deepfake Stu. I think it's in the movie for like 3 minutes, and hardly anyone is truly feared by it. And then we need to talk about the middle chunk of this movie, because nothing happens in it. It is literally just one of the forgettable side characters sees Ghostface, has a little scuffle with them, and then they die. A few minutes later, side character meets Ghostface, little bit more of a scuffle, then they die. That is literally the middle 40 minutes of this movie. And then things really get stupid when we get to the third act, when the Ghostface killers are revealed. These are easily the worst reveals of Ghostface in the entire franchise. The killers are Sidney Prescott's neighbour and this guy who worked in the mental hospital. Two characters that possibly had a combined screen time of about 6 minutes. And what do we know about these people, you may be asking? Well, the mental hospital guy, he was a mental hospital guy, and he worked at Google. He worked with AI there. Very, very convenient. And then we get to Sidney Prescott's neighbour, who a few years ago had a very abusive husband. Then she read Sidney Prescott's book and decided to kill him to feel more empowered. And then because Sidney wasn't in Scream 6 and helping the gang in New York, she felt betrayed by her, so she decided to kill her. You see what I mean? This is just weird. And I've got to say, this movie has some really, really stupid decisions just to progress the plot. There's one moment in the third act which really, really annoyed me. And I'm pretty sure everyone in the screening was really annoyed by it as well. So we've seen this bit in the trailer where Sidney Prescott's daughter is shooting through the wall at Ghostface, manages to hit them a few times, and then Sidney keeps saying, you got to shoot him in the head to kill him. But instead of shooting through the wall, she decides to unbarricade the door and go out to try and shoot them in the head. What do you know? Ghostface gets up and kidnaps her. Who could have seen that coming, you idiot? And then there's just a bunch of weird things, like in the middle of this movie, the town's put in a curfew, and there's police patrolling everywhere. No, they are patrolling every street, every nook and cranny of this town. No one's going anywhere. But then as soon as Sidney Prescott's daughter is running away from Ghostface killers, they are nowhere to be seen. This movie was just so stupid. It was so rushed, so convoluted. It did not know what it wanted to be. It literally felt like a studio-mandated film. Oh, we did 5 and 6. It was meant to be a trilogy. Let's just quickly do something so we can actually make it a trilogy. Never mind that we fired our main actor and General Ortega left, and the directors who actually made good Scream movies left as well. Forget all about that. Let's just bring Sidney Prescott back. Let's at least make something here and just cobble together something. And if I'm going to give this movie anything else, Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott, she's great once again. I mean, that's a given, really. Isabel May, though, as Tatum, while she had nothing to work with as Sidney's daughter, she was actually pretty decent in this movie as well. The acting overall is fine. I mean, the actors who play the actual Ghostface killers, they're clearly having a lot of fun. So, I mean, everyone seemed like they were having a good time, I guess. But I wasn't. The people in my screening didn't seem to be having fun as well. Scream 7 is a mess, guys. It really, really is. It really does stick out like a sore thumb because it doesn't feel like a Scream movie. It feels like one of the Stab movies that's parodying Scream movies. So Scream 7 was a massive disappointment. It's one of the worst movies in the franchise, and I pray to God that it ends now. No more now. We don't want a Scream 8, which apparently they're planning, unfortunately. Just stop now. Scream 7 gets a 3.5 out of 10 from me. This movie really pissed me off. It really, really did. But guys, I hope you all enjoyed this review. If you have seen Scream 7, do let me know your thoughts on it. Did you like it? Did you not? Let me know. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Have a good day. And see you later.